Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NTD Tonight. I'm David Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's top stories. 9 Republican candidates for House Speaker, each making their bid on why they should lead the House of Representatives. California's governor visits Israel and Hong Kong. What is he doing on an international business trip? Stay tuned to find out. Dozens loot a California 7-Eleven after a raucous street event. Data shows violent crimes in California are up as the national average goes down. First up, House Republicans busy selecting a new Speaker nominee. 9 candidates are running for the still vacant House Speaker position. Republican members convened on Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a closed-door conference meeting. Members will hear speeches from all 9 candidates vying for the Speaker seat. According to several House staff, they don't know how long the forum could last, but estimated members might wrap up around 9:30 or 10 p.m. On Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, House GOP members plan to vote for their Speaker nominee. Currently, there is no time or date scheduled for a floor vote. Now, more updates on the Israel-Hamas war. As of Monday, at least 3 humanitarian convoys entered Gaza through the Rafah crossing from Egypt. Germany's foreign minister acknowledged the difficulties of getting aid into the Gaza Strip and keeping it from Hamas. Israeli forces are conducting limited ground operations to free hostages. Here's more.
On Monday, the Hamas terrorist group released 2 more hostages, both Israeli citizens, 80-year-old Nurit Cooper and 85-year-old Yocheved Lifshitz. A Hamas spokesman said they released the 2 women for humanitarian and health reasons. However, both of their husbands remain in captivity. Meanwhile, the Israeli military remains focused on freeing the rest of the hostages. On Sunday, Israeli forces conducted limited ground operations in Gaza and not only killed Hamas terrorists, but also gathered intelligence. 1 Israeli soldier was killed in the operation.
We located over 1,000 bodies and captives, terrorists we are holding on to. I repeat, we got over 1,000 bodies and captives. All of them are Hamas members that are interrogated, identified, classified together with our intelligence efforts regarding the missing and hostages.
Through this intelligence gathering process, Israel updated the total number of hostages taken by Hamas to 222, now 220 after the latest hostages were released. Israeli President Isaac Herzog, in an exclusive interview on Sky News, also shared some alarming intelligence discovered on the body of a Hamas terrorist.
This is material which was found on the body of one of those sadistic villains. It's Al-Qaeda material. Official Al-Qaeda material. And in this material, there were instructions how to produce chemical weapons.
If confirmed, this would be a clear violation of the Geneva Convention and international law, which strictly forbid the use of chemical weapons. As of Monday, over 1,400 Israelis have been killed, mostly civilians who were killed by Hamas terrorists while attending a music festival. And according to the Hamas-run health ministry, more than 4,600 Gazans have been killed.
California Governor Gavin Newsom also visited Israel with efforts to send aid to Israel and Gaza. He also visits Hong Kong, where he tells the public in a climate change talk that California will always be a partner. NTD's David Lam reports.
California Governor Gavin Newsom visited Israel recently before heading to China. Newsom assured during his week-long trip to China that his state will always be a partner on climate issues, no matter how the U.S. presidential election turns out.
After I'm gone, I promise you, Democrat or Republican, you're going to have someone that's there for the long haul on these issues, that believes foundationally these issues. I want you to know, regardless of what happens nationally, subnationally, you have a partner in the state of California.
Newsom's visit to University of Hong Kong on Monday comes as U.S.-China relations witnessed a sharp decline in recent years due to trade disputes, U.S. support for self-governing Taiwan, and other human rights concerns, among other issues. Before his China trip, he visited the Tel Aviv Saraski Medical Center in Israel on Friday, meeting with survivors, families, and others, including those from California impacted by the Israel-Hamas war. Newsom said, "Despite the horror, what I saw and heard from the people of Israel was a profound sense of resilience, a commitment to community and common purpose, especially in these most difficult of times." According to Newsom's office, California is working to ship medical supplies to support humanitarian relief efforts in Israel and Gaza. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
An ongoing dispute between California officials and certain school districts. A notification policy on parents' rights to be informed about their students' pronouns have been put on hold. NTD's Christina Corona has more on the update.
A controversial policy with the Chino Valley Unified School District, which mandates school staff to inform parents if their child requests a change in gender identification, will remain suspended. San Bernardino County Superior Court Judge Michael Sachs called portions of the policy unconstitutional and issued a preliminary injunction Thursday, effectively blocking these portions until a final decision is reached in the case. California Attorney General Rob Bonta, who initiated a lawsuit against the Chino Valley Unified School District in August, asserted that the policy adversely affects transgender and gender non-conforming students, characterizing it as discriminatory. Over the summer, the Chino Valley School Board approved the policy, which compels school staff, including principals, counselors, and teachers, to notify parents in writing within 3 days of learning that their child wishes to be identified as a gender different from what is indicated in official records. This issue is scheduled to return to court in February, moving it one step closer to a potential trial. Christina Corona, NTD News, California.
A 7-Eleven overrun by looters in Sacramento County, California. No injuries were reported, and the police are working to identify the people involved. NTD's Jason Blair brings us that story.
The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office released this video on Friday. It shows dozens of people looting and vandalizing a 7-Eleven in Rio Linda. The incident happened on October 8th after a nearby sideshow. The police believe some of the suspects are from the San Francisco Bay Area. They're asking for tips and offering up to $1,000 for info leading to any arrests. The public can call 1-800-AA-CRIME. Not too far away in San Francisco, both a CVS and Walgreens will close stores located downtown within the coming month. Specific reasons have not been cited yet for these closures. However, Walgreens has noted retail theft and cost-cutting before with previous closings. Rite Aid also announced that it's closing 154 stores nationwide, including 34 in California. The company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy last week. All of this comes after recent data was released by the FBI. It shows that violent crime in California rose by 8.5% from 2020 to 2022, while in the nation as a whole it dropped by 3.5%. Reporting in California, Jason Blair, NTD News.
California is shifting perspective as synthetic lawns raise health concerns. It's also sparking legislative debate. NTD's Stephanie Sakal reports.
Governor Gavin Newsom's recent veto of a bill aimed at limiting harmful chemicals in synthetic lawns. It highlights California's evolving stance on plastic turf. While it was once promoted to conserve water during droughts, concerns about perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances, also known as PFAS chemicals, and Bepsinol A, known as BPA, leaching from synthetic turf have shifted legislative priorities. Research suggests these substances have been associated with a range of long-term health conditions, including cancer, diabetes, and neurological disorders. Newsom's veto, while expressing support for the bill's intent, raised concerns about enforceability. But he says he's committed to exploring the alternative methods to regulate these chemicals. Some California cities are moving to ban artificial turf, and manufacturers are working to address concerns, though eliminating PFAS remains a challenge. These chemicals can enter the body through various routes, and microplastics can contaminate groundwater. Additionally, synthetic turf can become extremely hot, making it one of the hottest surface materials. Alternative landscaping options such as planting climate-resistant plants and trees like Bermuda grass offers benefits beyond water conservation. Stephanie Sikal, NTD News, California.
We'll take a short break now, everybody, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. October 23rd marks late-night TV star Johnny Carson's birthday. NTD hears about his legacy from an NBC page who worked alongside the star. A new speed record for climbing Yosemite National Park's iconic El Capitan. Just how impressive is the record? We'll find out from a professional climber. A young American growing to be a promising tennis star. The young athlete won his first 4 title at the Japan Open. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight. Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Zhang. On this day in history, October 23rd, 1925, late-night TV star and host Johnny Carson was born. NTD's Christina Corona had the opportunity to interview Shelley Herman, the NBC page who was able to work alongside the notable star.
Johnny Carson had a legendary career in television, hosting The Tonight Show for 30 years and becoming an iconic figure in late-night entertainment. Today, Johnny Carson would have been 98 years old. Emmy-nominated author of My Peacock Tale, Secrets of an NBC Page, Shelley Herman tells us about her journey working alongside Carson and her favorite part of giving a tour as an NBC page.
I got there at a time when the women actually could give tours of the building and usher the shows. If I was lucky enough to get a tour from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, that's usually when we could position our tour right at the artist entrance, and about 1:50 every day Johnny Carson would arrive. And for those of you who don't know, Jimmy Fallon presently hosts The Tonight Show. Then there was Jay Leno, and before that, Johnny Carson, who is pictured right there on the cover of my book, and he did the show.
The Tonight Show was the first and for decades the most watched network talk program on television.
So if the tour could get a glimpse of Johnny, that was always the best thing. I could walk around the halls the rest of the time just going, beep, 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 nobody would care because they got to see a star.
Johnny Carson hosted his final episode of The Tonight Show on May 22nd, 1992. However, many notable celebrities started their career off as a page.
And some of the famous people that were in the page program were Match Game's own Gene Rayburn, Regis Philbin, executives like Grant Tinker, Chuck Barris was an NBC page. So it's quite a historic organization, and I would encourage anybody looking to get into the entertainment industry to go online and check it out. I mean, the odds are tough.
But being an NBC page may not be for everybody.
Well, when you're a page, you only have 18 months to work in that capacity to NBC, because the whole idea of the program is kind of an executive recruitment program. And in some instances, it's really good because some people learn, this isn't what I want to do. I want to get the heck out of here and get out of the entertainment industry.
And advice for working in such a competitive industry.
NBC told me that they have about 16,000 applications a year for a job either in New York or Los Angeles to be an NBC page. I don't think the fact that there's so much competition to get in the entertainment industry should stop someone who has that as an aspiration. There's competition to get in everywhere. It's saying yes to opportunities and not being cavalier about things, but you know, it's awfully easy to sit at home and play on the computer or, you know, watch a movie on Netflix, but go out there, experience the world.
Today, Shelley is working with the National Museum of Play based out of Rochester, New York, which will anticipate having one of the largest television game show memorabilia ever assembled at one location. Christina Corona, NTD News, Los Angeles.
A new speed record set by a climber at Yosemite National Park. El Capitan is one of the park's most recognizable landmarks and also a popular challenge for world-class climbers. NTD's Jason Blair spoke with a professional to get an idea just how impressive the new record is.
By over an hour, a new solo record was set for climbing a route called the Nose of El Capitan, a well-known rock formation in California's Yosemite Park. The climber is Nick Amon, a search and rescue member of Yosemite Valley. Amon climbed the nose in 4 hours and 39 minutes, beating the previous record of 5 hours and 50 minutes. To understand the record's significance, NTD asked professional climber Mason Deschamps, who has experience with El Capitan, to get his take. He said that speed climbing is the most dangerous form of climbing and a lot can go wrong.
To me, the fact that he was able to take the record from Alex Honnold, the most sponsored climber in the world, just shows you how good of a climber this guy is.
The standard way of speed climbing the nose is with two people. Deschamps says when someone does it solo, it's not only more risky, but also twice the work.
So you have to do every pitch of climbing, every rope length of climbing twice. It's double the work, and the fact that he got a 4-hour, 39-minute time blows my mind.
The nose of El Capitan was previously considered an impossible climb until the 1950s. The first one-day completion of the nose was in 1989 by Steve Schneider, who did it in 21 hours and 22 minutes. Reporting in California, Jason Blair, NTD News.
In the internet age, there are still radio enthusiasts who communicate in waves. They say it's a great way to connect with others around the world and authorities in times of distress when cell towers fail.
The old-time ham radio enthusiasts don't believe ham radio is obsolete in the age of Starlink and internet video conferencing. Instead, they find comfort in talking to each other around the world, especially during the pandemic, and helping community members during natural disasters.
And we use ham radio to communicate, again, in case cell towers and things like that go down or the internet goes down. We'll communicate information about, for example, in the event of an earthquake, what homes are damaged, or if there's medical emergencies and things like that, and people can't call 911. We have emergency groups that communicate with the fire department, kind of like the old civil defense kind of arrangement.
They gathered at Pacificon, an annual convention for the ARRL Pacificon Division Amateur Radio. It returned this year to San Ramon from October 20th to 22nd.
Not a young hobby. It's been going on for a very, very long time. The equipment has changed. Some of the technology has grown, and I'm excited about the newer technology, but then there's still the older technology, requiring the extremely large antennas, using the ionosphere to talk to people, and you don't need a cell phone.
Amateur television also functions similarly to amateur radio to visually show what a site looks like.
We've had equipment up on the International Space Station and transmitted, they can transmit video pictures to us. And when they had the space shuttle program, we were sending video. So some of the science experiments the kids in junior high and high school were doing, the person doing the experiment here could show from a school, and the astronauts could see the picture, and then they would use NASA Select TV coming back, and then the student could see the other head, so it helps to promote science and mathematics and stuff in school.
For those who are interested in getting into radio, they recommend people start with learning online or join a local amateur radio club, then get a radio license if they are more serious about it.
Now we turn it over to NTD's Carlos Reyes for some tennis coverage, where a young American is beginning to show some promise.
Tennis player Ben Shelton won his first tour title, beating Aslan Karatsev at the Japan Open on Sunday. The 21-year-old American, who made his first tour semifinal appearance at the US Open last month, continued his recent rich vein of form in Tokyo. He made 18 winners and beat his Russian opponent with his lefty serve. Shelton closed out the final in under 90 minutes. Karatsev struggled to regain composure in the second set and ended up smashing his racket in frustration as errors began to creep into his game. Shelton celebrated by running to his team and hugging his father, Brian, who is also his coach. The University of Florida product also beat Karatsev at the US Open. Shelton, who began the season at 96 in the world, will strikingly climb to a career-high number 15 in next week's rankings. During his breakout season, the American advanced to the quarterfinals at the Australian Open before becoming the youngest American man to advance to the semifinals at Flushing Meadows since Michael Chang in 1992. He also made the quarterfinals at the Shanghai Masters last week. 30-year-old Karatsev was seeking his fourth title and first since he beat Andy Murray in Sydney in 2022, but with 20 unforced errors, the Russian struggled with momentum in the match. Carlos Reyes, NTD News.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on NTD Tonight every weekday at 9 p.m. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.